This is Aris Latham, the recognized father of ethical gourmet raw food cuisine, based on the acclamation I received from the Oxford Encyclopedia of Food and Drink. I'd like to really extend to you a very warm welcome and thank you for joining me here at Semana de Alimentación Viva. This program is especially designed for all of you that are inclined to consider a living food lifestyle. And it really gives me particular privilege to be able to be a part of this program, to share alongside all of the other distinguished educators that are bringing you really life-saving information. I am here at present in Peru, and here in Peru I really would say that this is truly the capital of mega nutrition when it comes to the global natural food scene. The choices here are just unbounded. And particularly for what I'm sharing with you, it is quite appropriate to share it with you from this particular perspective, from the point of view of Peru. Peru, the land of ancient food civilizations, with the Inca Empire that has brought us so much wonderful agricultural foundations for us to really do some of the things that we're doing today. And particularly here in Peru today, there's quite a bit of boundless, offerings of fresh food. As you can see here in my kitchen in Lima, in Miraflores, where I am being hosted by the Árbol de la Vida. We're doing some presentations on food preparation and ortho-molecular nutrition as it relates to living food. We're also having a retreat here, a living food retreat, a detox program. And there's no better place to do it when it comes to the food options that are available to detox the body. So from the point of view of ortho-molecular nutrition, which is basically centered around the whole idea of, feeding the body on a certain level so that it can really recalibrate itself. There's so much that we need to consider when it comes to our mental clarity, our moods, and how food plays a role in all of this. So we're really talking about optimum nutrition for life, when it comes to looking at it from the ortho-molecular perspective. We're ultimately really talking about nutritional chemistry that supports, our life. It's really very, very effective when we look at the body the way it is recognized today as a temple of disease, and looking to detox or cleanse the body, to heal the body. First, we must allow the body to have that fighting chance. We must readjust the chemistry of the body. And in readjusting the chemistry of the body, a juice detox is very effective. A juice detox is very important, because here in doing a juice detox, what we want to do is really rid the body of unwanted waste. So along with providing optimal nutritional concentration, the orthomolecular approach also deals with detoxification, because they really come hand in hand. As it is said in ancient tradition, our food shall be our medicine, and our medicine shall be our food. So to remove toxic molecules from our individual body, there's no better way to do it than to just flush it out. And it's safe, it's effective, and beyond all of that, it's very reasonable. And it's something that we can do ourselves, to be able to remove heavy metals, lead, mercury, aluminum, arsenic, and all of these things through a natural juice flush, natural juice detoxification, giving the body fresh nutrients from plants, fruits, vegetables, leaves, roots, you name it, that are bounded with minerals, vitamins, phytochemicals, electrolytes, all of the unseeing and very powerful elements that we actually eat food for. And this is really one of the reasons why most of us are quite ill today, because we are lacking in these very powerful micronutrients and things of that level that is not facilitated by the traditional basically meat and potato, bean and rice lifestyle that we have been dealing with primarily today. So this approach is just a very vigilant, attempt to identify, chemicals in the environment, toxins in the environment, toxins that come through our diet, which, may affect us in very negative ways, such as things that are found, elements that are found in things like wheat and rye and barley, these gluten bound products, which create, quite a bit of challenge in our intestinal system. So because they destroy the villi in the system that creates malabsorption of vital nutrients that are required to really activate neurotransmitters, like dopamine and serotonin. So when it comes to the whole issue of neurotransmitters, the imbalances and defects that we find based on these neurotransmitters having been affected, may be classified as mental illness and other issues that may not really necessarily be the proper classification, because then there's quite a few of medical intrusion that ends up taking place. So, to think that someone has something wrong with their mind because first of all, the brain is part of the body, and this physical organ, the brain, requires proper molecular chemistry in order to work effectively. So since the brain houses our thoughts and, it's the coordinator for our senses, a chemically imbalanced or toxic brain will express itself by disordered thoughts, anger, anxiety, depression, and things like that, sensory disturbances, hallucinations, and things of that nature. And then, then the medical invasion starts to take place. So I think it's important, though, that we look at the diet relationship, for optimal health. This is something that has been happening throughout recorded history by some of, the greatest recognized practitioners. Number one being Imhotep, who came out of ancient Kemet or ancient Egypt, and a lot of his knowledge was studied by people like Hippocrates and Pythagoras, So we're talking, over 2,500 years ago, up to 5,000 years ago, where records have shown that specific foods were used to treat medical conditions, especially, psychological conditions. So why not do that today? We have quite a vast array of foods available to us that have not only nutritional values, but also have quite a bit of very powerful medicinal or healing qualities as well. One of society's modern, genius, Linus Pauling, has expressed this. And this is where we get the whole beginning of the approach of ortho-molecular nutrition based on his observations. So basically, it's all about varying the concentrations of the substances that are normally present in the human body to control diseases, basically. So if it's a certain vitamin that is lacking, that creates a certain condition, a certain minerals that is lacking, or toxins that are irritating the system, that are leaving waste behind, that are blocking, congesting, and stagnating, then there is foods. There are foods that have what it takes to unclog, to open up, the channel, to remedy, the situation, whether it's affecting the brain, it's affecting some other organ, the kidneys, the lungs, you name it. So rather than using these powerful synthetic drugs, which basically, has been proven to really not be that effective, that powerful, they just really control and suppress, symptoms, pretty much, more so than doing anything else. So, Dr. Pauling has reached the conclusion that, it is best to treat people with this nutritional science, which he terms as ortho-molecular therapy. And there's really today the advent of the living food diet, the living food lifestyle, the raw food, culture. Really, it's quite timely because there's no other approach to eating, to dining, to feasting, to gorging on food, or just simply just taking care of one's basic, nutritional need. There's no better approach that brings together or typifies, the values of the science of ortho-molecular nutrition, which basically it just aims to restore, the optimum environment of the body by correcting the imbalances of deficiencies based on the individual's biochemistry, using substances natural to the body such as vitamins, minerals, amino acids, trace elements, and fatty acids. And these all can be found in food. So rather than just subscribing to, the nutritional supplements that have been processed, manufactured, which works quite well in many cases, but we can step back a little further and just deal with the food, deal with the whole food, deal with the whole plant before it has been processed. So the key idea, in this type of nutrition approach is that, genetic factors affect not only the physical characteristics of the individual, but also their biochemical makeup. So biochemical pathways of the body have significant genetic variability, and diseases such as arteriosclerosis, cancer, schizophrenia, depressions are associated with specific biochemical abnormalities, which are causal or combining factors of practically all illnesses. So, here we go forward now, looking to, protect and enhance our health through natural remedies, fresh remedies, live foods, fresh juices that are made from leaves, from fruits, from tubers that contain these minerals, these phytochemicals, the vitamins, and all of these elements, the trace elements, the fatty acids contain all of these things. And not only in a juice form, but just even in a salad, in a blended form, using nut meats and pâtés and soups and shakes and you name it. Here we go. Nature's pharmacy. Just straight out of the land, straight from the bush. So, one doctor, I believe his name was Abram Hoffer, puts it quite clearly. He says, ortho-molecular treatment does not lend itself to rapid drug-like controlled symptoms, but patients get well to a degree not seen by tranquilizer therapies, who believe ortho-molecular therapists are prone to exaggeration. So many of these traditional medical doctors, institutions feel that ortho-molecular scientists are really off, which is fine if they want to go that route. But now here we are, the living food movement or the living food science that have taken now ortho-molecular to another level where we don't have to necessarily look at it as medicine. We're just looking at it strictly as food, because that's all we're dealing with is food. And it's basically all about fresh food, So, it's about getting into the gut of the human being, looking at hormones and neurotransmitters, which are generated in the gut and interact with our organs, such as the lungs and the heart. So there's a lot of research out there that are showing how the gut affects the bodily functions, even beyond the digestive system. So the gut is the pit. This is where it all brews. This is where it all boils. This is where it all churns. So it's all about what you eat that we have to look at. So there's studies that are supporting this. There's studies that are shown very direct links, from the gut's health to bone formation, to learning and memory, and to even conditions including Parkinson's disease and so forth and so on, even up to in these days, research have shown, that we just disrupting the stomach or intestinal bacteria can prompt depression and anxiety. And this has been shown in lab rats, quite a few times. So better understanding the communication between the gut and the brain and the rest of the body could really help to reveal and show the causes and treatments of a whole range of ailments and provide, doctors with really what it takes to move beyond where we're going, So a lot of these mental diseases, a lot of these diseases that affect, critical organs don't have to be treated the way they have been treated. There are people like myself, today who are living examples. I am 69 years old, and or actually 69 years of being, neither old nor young necessarily, but I'm not ill, as my other contemporaries at similar age or close age, even younger than me, are really, suffering from a whole array of life-threatening diseases. Consuming all fresh, living plant foods for the past 40 years, have brought me into a position where I have really, shown the value of eating this way to defend your life. you know, I started off doing this back in the 1960s. It's been 46 years now where since I've not consumed any animal products whatsoever. So my body is very low. The toxic level of my body is very low. My body is very low in toxemia. And toxemia is definitely, the root cause of practically most diseases, especially life-threatening diseases that are facing humanity today. So to follow these examples of not only myself, but other people who have come before me and other people who are walking alongside me, practicalizing this lifestyle, it's quite a wealth, for humanity to take a minute and stop and listen and observe the same way we give the doctors, the medical institutions a certain type of respect. We need to give nature, we need to give life, equal level of respect and observe, what is going on, the power of life, the power of nature, the power of the plants, to be able to do these types of things for us and bring us into a certain level where, people like myself at this age is not suffering from, or being threatened by Alzheimer's and, other mental issues or cancer and things of that nature. So eating raw foods is natural. We've come on this planet, we've been on this planet, for at least 1 million years without, and survive marvelously without the use of fire for probably hundreds of thousands of years before we figured out the use of fire. So obviously we never ate no cooked foods prior to the advent of fire. So our bodies thrive best on fresh and vital nutrition. So a raw food diet, or increasing the amount of raw food that you don't have to necessarily go 100%, is actually definitely going to make you feel better, look better, and also increase your level of well-being. This is something that, there's no doubt about, there's no denying. This is something that is seen every day, today, in hundreds of thousands of people who are subscribing and adopting to this lifestyle, that are showing how, marvelous it is to free themselves of certain life-threatening disease just through basically cutting out, devitalized foods, highly processed, chemicalized foods, animal products, animal flesh and things of that nature, and increasing the amount of fresh, living plant foods. So these are unprocessed foods or uncooked foods, as you know it, cooking, because these foods are actually been cooked by the sun, and we definitely want them to be organic, as much organic as possible. That is our objective, is to have them grown without chemical fertilizers and pesticides and things of that nature, besides being unprocessed. So we're really basically talking about fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, nuts, seeds, grains, some dried fruits, fresh juices, and even water from coconut, the young coconut, this is like really great, pristine, highly mineralized water that has minerals in an organic form that the body can utilize, loads of electrolytes. We're talking about foods that are high in phytochemicals, friendly bacteria and things of this nature to protect the body, to allow the body to really have a fighting chance to pretty much heal itself. So basically we're talking about a vegetarian diet, foods that vegetate. We're not talking about fish. We're not talking about dairies. We're not talking about eggs and cheese and milks and things of that nature. These foods, they promote life. Living foods promote life. They contain the maximum amount of fiber, that especially, just looking at simple raw produce, tomatoes and lettuce and cucumbers and apples and pineapples, pears and peaches and spinach, highly high fiber foods, and these fibers have not been lost through the processing, through the cooking and the boiling and the baking and the microwaving and things of that nature, and even through freezing that does affect the fiber in foods. So these foods are easily metabolized in the body, and they also tend to be lower in calories, than the average diet. So the point is to not to heat these foods above, say, 118, 120 degrees, as low as 115 is great, so that we don't destroy the enzymes. We don't destroy the life-giving force in the foods that actually aids in their digestion and the absorption of the foods in our body, because cooking, besides destroying these vital elements, they also destroy the nutritional value of the food as well. So we really need to be extremely careful as we approach this lifestyle, and understand that also when we consuming foods like this now, after consuming the standard traditional, meat and potato style diet, is that, hey, now this food that is coming into our body, we're talking particularly or primarily any fresh fruits, vegetables, grains, seeds, beans, nuts, legumes, young coconut, the milk or water from the young coconut, and even seaweeds and things of this nature. These are the things that are on our menu. So your choice may depend on certain factors, and you may even want to use things like sprouted brown rice, cabbage, which supports cellular function. The glucose in the brown rice helps to improve the metabolism and its absorption, and the cabbage in the form of, say, a sauerkraut, helps support healthy cellular function, and also the things like the radishes and some of these hot foods and pungent, powerful foods have a lot of antioxidants, so they really help protect our cellular, the function of our cells of the body. There are certain other foods, plant foods, direct common foods like carrots, which are a great source of vitamin A, and they help to protect our vision as well, and also our cardiovascular system. So if we look at pretty much every single fresh plant food, we're going to find, there's medicine in these foods. It's not unusual when you start eating a lot of fruits that you start having diarrhea, you start having the runs, you start having some cleansing naturally, but many of us tend to misinterpret that and feel that these foods are having a negative effect on our body because we're not used to doing so much evacuation. So, sprouts, another great bountiful of foods. Sprouts themselves, especially, we're talking about using organic seeds, which are, they have great levels of vitamins, minerals, proteins, trace minerals, chlorophyll, that green pigment, in sprouts when they're exposed to sunlight, the enzymes. These are all basically and ideally natural supplements. So, you know, we can do this on a practical level, on a home-based level. You know, we don't have to have all of the sophisticated, expensive packaged products, you know. And this is one of the dangers also that I see even creeping into the living food culture as well. A lot of the living foods are not living anymore. There's so much dehydrated, powdered, you know, processed things. Yes, some may be superfood. That's fine. Those you take in small amounts, they supplement your basic eating, you know, your basic diet, the basic, you know, lettuce and tomatoes and apples and pears and peaches and quinoa, you know, grains, fine grains, the nuts, the seeds, and things like that. When you start reaching for some little powder called superfoods or whatever it may call, you know, then you're really just supplementing. Those are not, you know, solid stuff that you can eat. You know, a big bowl of maca, you know, concentrated. But besides being super expensive, you know, we also have to be careful how we approach it. You know, smaller amounts, not only of superfoods and all of these energy boosters and things like that, but even small amounts of meals, period. You know, the days of, you know, gorging on a big flowing plate, you know, with lots of carbs and fats and proteins and things like that. Those days are over. Look at where it has gotten us. You know, we're obese. You know, we're like beasts, you know, really. And besides that, you know, we're sick. You know, humanity is sick. You know, so, you know, add sprouts to salads and soups. You know, you could sprout simply, you could sprout lentils, just soak them for 12 hours, drain them, rinse them, leave it in a colander and allow them to sprout for 2, 3, 4 days, just rinsing them twice a day. You know, you do this with other legumes, you do it with grains, you know, and your seeds and nuts, they just simply need to be soaked, pre-soaked for 12 hours to activate them, to remove the enzyme inhibitors. So these things, you know, and the sprouts, which you can juice, you know, I would juice my alfalfa. You know, we have some alfalfa sprouts here. You know, I put alfalfa sprouts in my juice, you know, in my vegetable juice. You know, we have some onion sprouts here. Excellent. You know, we have radish sprouts. These red radish. Actually, these are clover sprouts, red clover sprouts. These are excellent to put in juices. So we add these to our vegetable juices. You know, we add them with our lettuce. You know, our lettuce. We have spinach. We have tomatoes. You know, these are things. These are the base of our juices. We have carrots. You name it. Red cabbage. Here is some baby arugula. I juice these arugula in with my juices, you know, in with my vegetable juices. These are the things, you know, so these fresh juices, they're great, ready energy supplies and good quality nutrients. So just get yourself a good juice extractor and just bounce around, just drop stuff in there, you know, just put whatever you like, you know, to get things going. Here I am right now as I talk with you. I'm sipping and enjoying myself a nice big glass of juice. This here I made first thing this morning. This juice has grapes. We use the Muscat grapes, those wonderful aromatic Italian grapes are in this juice. So I just put the grapes in the blender without the stems. Just blend it for like 10 seconds just to break it down a little bit, create a nice water base in the blender. Then I put tangerines, peel the tangerines, drop them in the blender with those grapes, just blend it lightly for about another 10 seconds, loosens it up real good. Then I pour those out into a press cloth and I just press it. I just squeeze it by hand press, cold press, you talking about it, press it out. Then that pressed grape tangerine juice, I reintroduce it back into my blender with papaya. You know, papaya is really the food. You know, this is one of the best. You know, to me, this is a superior food. Papaya is pure enzymes. Papain is loaded with papain. So I blend papaya in the blender with my tangerine grape juice, and this is what I have. I have a papaya tango, you know. So, you know, what a great combination. Hydrates me and really takes me to the next level. So the things that we have available to us today. Now, this food here, this is a very special food. You know, it's important for us to look at these types of foods. You know, we need to get out of our box. We need to get out of our community. We need to see what the global community has to offer us. This is a fruit that I get here in Peru. It's called sanqui. Sanqui is a cactus fruit. So here, look at it. It's just like the it's in the family of the dragon fruit, you know, the pitaya. You know, this fruit is just marvelous. When you're looking for a cleanser, this is it. You know, so I would combine sanqui in a salad with plantain. Sanqui, plantains, and tomatoes make an excellent salad. So here you have a healing combination that you can enjoy as a meal. You know, you can enjoy it as a meal. So to be able to fuse these superior foods is where it's at. Here, where I am also in Peru, I have access to this algae. This is a sea algae. Actually, this is an algae from a lake. You know, look at it. Great trace minerals, micro minerals. So I would blend that in with a green juice. You know, this is one of the things about having access to the global market. Here, this button here, this is an artichoke button. One of those super artichokes that are grown here in Peru. And we eat this raw. Raw, this is meat. This is plant meat. So you don't need to eat the animal-based meats that are loaded with cholesterol that clogs up your system. You know, besides that, here we also have olives. The miracle that olives can perform for your system. The oil, the fat in olive, the lubrication, the protein, the building value of olives, you know, plant-based foods. You know, this is where it's at. This is what we really like to always highlight when it comes to ortho-molecular nutrition. You can get it just like this. Spinach leaves, a spinach juice, spinach with cucumber. What a combination. You're talking about a detoxer, minerals, chlorophyll, you know, not only detoxes the body, but rebuilds it and strengthens it automatically. So it gives the immune system that fighting chance that we've been looking for. You know, we've been abusing our immune system. We've been ripping off our enzyme bank, eating foods that are cooked, that are devitalized, that cannot assist in their own digestion. So our body has to produce an excessive amount of digestive enzymes to process these foods, these vital-less foods. You know, so in doing that, we're ripping off our enzyme bank. We're robbing from our life. So now our immune system becomes compromised. It cannot defend ourselves against unfriendly bacteria. against diseases. So this is where we are. This is what we need to do. These are the steps. This is you know, this kitchen here, the way we have set this up, you know, this is actually a pharmacy. You know, we're actually in a pharmacy when you're in a kitchen like this. You know, when you see all of these green leaves, this chlorophyll and scallions, you know, the anise, you know, the celery, these vibrant, rich mineral foods, high in iron, parsley, basil, cilantro, you know, bok choy, you know, hey, and even this gem, this magic right here, you need to see what this is. You may not have seen it, you know, in its original form before. So I need you to see what this is here. So I'll bring it up close to you. Here. This is coca leaf. This is coca leaf. You're talking about an energizer. This is an energizer. Coca leaves are an energizer. You know, so we take the coca leaf and blend it with the sanki and cucumber. We're talking green gold. Sanki, cucumber, and coca leaves. Look, cucumber is nothing but a sugarless watermelon. You're talking about a great hydrator, a wonderful cleanser, and this powerhouse of the sanki to cleanse the blood, to cleanse the system, and then this energizer of the coca leaf. We're full of energy. We're full of vitality, but also we're cleaning out. We're clearing out, you know, brain food in the way of cabbage, of cauliflower. You know, the whole cruciferous vegetable family, cauliflower, cabbage, and broccoli, these are anti-carcinogenic. So what we do, we take the cabbage and we process it, we grind it down, and use it to make sauerkraut. So the sauerkraut, after setting it for 5 days, it's high in enzymes. So we're going to take a minute.